What's up, guys? I'm nobody special, and somehow Evergrande is in even more trouble today. I don't know how, because they've been in default for God knows how long, but today they were ordered to tear down 39 brand new apartment buildings on this ridiculous boondoggle artificial island project they have going on in the South China Sea. This company's like a bad episode of Jerry Springer. You just wish they would stop, but at the same time, I can't look away. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jack Gamble, and I'm nobody special. And man, what is going on at China Evergrande Group? Things just get worse and worse and worse. I mean, these guys already officially defaulted like a month ago. After they kind of defaulted 2-3 months ago, they're still around somehow. How? Anybody's guess. But things just keep getting worse for them. And it's like, hey, guys, why don't you just stop trying and get it over with already? But I digress. And today the news was just absolutely catastrophic. Now, before we get into this story, I have to ask, could you please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget that notification bell? It really helps me out. It helps me to keep this channel growing, and I'd be forever in your debt. And with that, it is that time to shrink my big fat melon of a head. And let's get into this article, folks. Evergrande's plush sea resort project in Hainan Island ordered to shut down. This is dated today, and this is in the Global Times. Keep in mind, this is the Chinese Communist Party's favorite propaganda outlet newspaper. The tourism development unit under the debt-stricken China Evergrande Group was ordered to remove its mega resort project in Danzhou, South China's Hainan province, according to an administrative penalty notice issued by local authorities citing the company's unlawful means of obtaining the project certificate. According to the notice, the project, covering 434,000 square meters, 39 buildings of the Ocean Flower Island, an artificial archipelago in Danzhou, the world's largest of its kind, was ordered to demolish within 10 days. So they have to tear down 39 brand new buildings on this $25 billion artificial island complex that they've built, and they have 10 days to do it. Now, Evergrande issued a filing to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange on Monday saying that its shares will be temporarily suspended from trading, and all subordinate businesses related to the company will also temporarily halt trading on the market. The project of Ocean Flower Island has received a total investment of 160 billion yuan, or $25.2 billion, including 28 major business hubs, including an international conference and exhibition center, museum complex, fairy tale world, water park, international shopping plaza. The mega project is one of several real estate developments in Hainan that have been subject to a double suspension of both construction and sales. In April of 2019, Hainan province investigated and addressed violations of laws and regulations related to Ocean Flower Island with an administrative fine of approximately 215 million yuan imposed. You see, they built these big artificial islands under questionable circumstances, sidestepping a lot of the regulations, bribing the right officials, many of whom were sacked for corruption, and they caused a lot of damage to reefs and oyster populations in the area. So this project has been absolutely riddled with problems for years now, an environmental catastrophe, not to mention just a grotesque waste of money, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But there's one thing I wanted to note, that this project, this Ocean Flower Island project, has been the gem of Evergrande all along. This is their flagship development, all right? This is their global show-off, the crown jewel of their portfolio, right? Now, remember, we've been talking for months about how Evergrande has $300 billion in debt and $250 billion in assets. Well, this crown jewel is one of their big assets, right? This is one of the plus signs in their ledger. This is one of the big positives in their book. Well, they have to blow up 39 of them right now. 39 of the buildings that they just built. Just got to knock them down. Not much of an asset. They won't be getting much money for that asset, will they? Not if they have to just blow it up. Also, I'm assuming they're going to have to clean it up and get rid of all the rubble and everything too. So this asset just turned into a massive liability. They're going to have to spend millions of dollars to tear this down and clear it up. Oh, and I'm sure they're going to get right on top of that just as soon as they finish paying all their bonds, paying all their employees, and everything else they have. Right. Now, when I saw this article, I was reminded of a story that I read back in late November, and I had to go back in time a little bit. And this is in Bloomberg. China City tightens Evergrande's property for debt deals, according to Cakeson. Now, again, this was about a month and a half ago. Regulators in Danzhou City in China's Hainan province tightened oversight of Evergrande's arrangements to repay debt with properties on concerns over the risks of such transaction, Cakeson reported, citing the local authorities. Evergrande was told by housing authorities in Danzhou this week that transactions using assets in the Ocean Flower Island project to repay unrelated debts will be prohibited. Authorities plan to protect the Ocean Flower Island project liquidity and ensure its delivery, Cakeson reported. So the local government in this province got wind of the fact that Evergrande was trying to use apartments and buildings on these artificial islands to try to pay off some of its bad debts. And they didn't want that to happen. They didn't want to be left holding the bag with these unfinished buildings or God knows what was wrong with them, because I'm sure they've been built to very rigorous Chinese engineering standards. Note sarcasm. So the local government ordered Evergrande not to use these buildings to pay off the debts. And something tells me Evergrande took that recommendation from the local government and totally ignored it. So a month later, the local government just comes in and says, you know what? We changed our mind. Now you have to blow them up. Now you got to rip them all down. My goodness, things at this company just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, I have to wonder, how is Evergrande even still operating? I mean, their 30-day grace period on their bonds expired so long ago. Nobody's hauled them into court yet. They're not in bankruptcy yet. Moody's still hasn't downgraded them. It's like the whole business world is just pretending everything's fine. Nothing's fine here. You know what? The house is on fire. Everything is burning down. As long as we don't look at the fire, it can't hurt us, right? The smoke can't touch us if we just hold our breath. That seems to be the international business community's approach to Evergrande. Anyways, just to give you guys an idea, the scope of the stupidity of this project, I brought in a couple of links. Now, here is Google Maps. Let's make sure you guys can see. These 3 islands here, this is your artificial island complex. It's Ocean Flower Island consists of 3 islands. You've got this main hub island in the middle here, shaped like a flower. How pretty, my goodness. And this is just loaded with all of these museums, and oh my goodness, look at all these senior theses architecture projects. Oh my god, they look like spaceships or mold growth, god knows whatever. We got a couple of Hilton hotels here making a big flashy entrance to the island. You know, put an island where Mother Nature doesn't want one. I'm sure everything will be fine. Go ahead, pump billions of dollars into it. This is the island number 1, and then you have the island 2 and island 3 off to the sides. And, you know, for such a massive investment project, you'd think you'd be able to find some detailed specifications or maps of this project. I could not anywhere. I don't even know which is island number 2 and which is island number 3. I know that the buildings Evergrande was ordered to knock down are on island number 2, but I don't know which island is number 2 because I couldn't find it. Anyways, just zooming in on this is either the number 2 or the number 3 island, which is the more residential of the islands, right? All of the tourist attractions, the theme parks and the convention centers and the hotels are on this center island number 1, and then your lavish residences are on island 2 and 3. So Evergrande was ordered to tear down these apartment buildings. I'm assuming it's something like these buildings here. Now I counted these. There's 40 buildings on this island, assuming I counted right. So that may be the ones that Evergrande is required to be knocking down. Either way, I mean, that is just a lot of money going up in smoke. And then over here on the other side, this may be island number 2. Again, I can't tell which one is 2 and which one is 3. But again, you've got all of these ridiculous rectangular apartment buildings just crammed on this island that doesn't belong there. What's the worst thing that could happen? Anyways, 39 of those buildings are to be torn down. Now, the company is insisting this is not going to affect the greater rollout of the Ocean Flower project, which was recently open to tourists, at least this center island was. But we will see how that project fares now that they've started knocking down these apartment buildings. Not very good optics if you're somebody interested in buying one of these things. And just to put it in perspective, I found this little gem. Now, this is on the Chinese Bridge channel on YouTube. And this is just showing some of the highlights and some of the status on the construction to date for this project. up in smoke. So now before these buildings have even opened, before they can even sell their first apartment, they have to tear the buildings down. 39 of them, in fact. Now keep in mind, Evergrande has $139 billion worth of employee payments they have to make. Now keep in mind, folks, this is not even the biggest problem Evergrande is facing, not by a long shot. And these defaulted offshore bonds are not the biggest problem Evergrande is facing, not by a long shot. The biggest problem Evergrande has right now is that the Chinese Communist Party has ordered the company to pay their employees, which you would think paying employees is kind of a high priority anyway. But Evergrande has hundreds of thousands of these traveling construction workers, these migrant laborers, who are all due to head home for the Chinese New Year soon. And these guys have not been paid in months. Hundreds of thousands of angry workers who haven't been paid are about to head home and face their families, which means hundreds of thousands or even millions more people are angry because their husband, their father, their son came home and has nothing to show for all the months away from home. And I've talked about on this channel before how the CCP's only fear, their biggest worry, is their own people. They need to keep their own people happy. When you rule with an iron fist, then you cannot stand any kind of social unrest. And hundreds of thousands or millions of people not getting paid is an easy way to wind up with social unrest on your hands. So Evergrande's biggest problem right now is somehow they have to come up with the money to pay all these people that they've been ripping off for so long. Keep in mind, not just paying their wages, but Evergrande also extorted money out of their employees through these wealth management products. Well, it turns out they can't pay back those wealth management products either. So you have got a lot of very angry people on the horizon for Evergrande. And the Communist Party has ordered the company to pay the employees. Where they get the money from, who knows? They've already sold the founder's assets. They're liquidating him as fast as they can. So what happens if the money doesn't materialize out of thin air in time to pay these people before this important national holiday? Who knows? So this fiasco on this artificial island is just one in a long string of problems facing Evergrande. I mean, I even question whether I should keep covering this story at this point. I know it's so important to the global economy, but I mean, we've already established that this company is just an unmitigated disaster, a total train wreck of a company. So if it gets train wreckier, should I keep bringing you these videos? Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, watching this unmitigated disaster, you almost feel sorry for them, but you just can't look away at the same time. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. It really helps me out. And until next time, live small and dream big.